right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our call today. This is the first call of our Speaker Success Summit. Today we have the fabulous James Dentley and his VP Stephen with us today, and they're going to be giving some tips and some advice on how to be able to become an amazing speaker that can monetize and can really be successful in what they do. So, James, I'm going to turn it over to you to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Stephen, who will be answering the interview questions on this call. So, James?
Okay, well, perfect. Our company, NBC University, which is networking, business building, and coaching, it's been around for like 8 years, and we actually promote events and empower entrepreneurs just to be able to succeed at a higher level. I've been training speakers and coaching speakers for over 22 years now, and had the pleasure of speaking all over the world. And developing a program, we always want to raise the bar to create an experience for people so we can make public speaking easy, because communication is applicable in every aspect of your life. To be a great communicator, even Warren Buffett said, right now, the field to go into right now is public speaking, whether you're an author or no matter what your background is, you have to be able to communicate effectively. But because we get people platform ready within the first 5 days of working with us, we're able to show people how to monetize their gifts, their skills, some of the things that they're doing right now that they have an expertise in, and to be able to control their income and also be able to impact the world in a great, great way. So Stephen Pierce is actually a gentleman I have a tremendous amount of respect for. This gentleman, over 8 years ago, I watched this gentleman actually earn over 7 figures in 1 hour speaking from the stage. But more importantly than that was his expertise as far as being in the Internet and marketing online, marketing on podcasts. This gentleman has had podcasts that were ranked above Joel Osteen and Oprah Winfrey. And to have someone like him to partner with us to help us raise the bar and take our company to the next level is just absolutely incredible. So he is actually the executive vice president of NBC University. He is the brain trust of many of the things that we do, and he has 100% of the information to share with people about how you can be super successful in whatever you're doing, because marketing is everything and communication is everything. So, Stephen Pierce, I want to turn it over to you and put you in Allison Larson's capable hands.
Thank you, James.
Appreciate you. Love that intro. And Allison, let's have some fun, and let's see what we can deliver up to everybody that's listening.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. So, I know, and I've heard James present. He's one of my favorite speakers, and I know that when he's talking about you and all the phenomenal things you've done, and he said, hey, you know what? Stephen is even better than I am. So I'm so excited to have you. So excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
One of the things James said that really struck me, and as a speaker, is he used the term super successful. And that's something that's been on my mind lately. I think anytime I'm around somebody who is super successful, I want to glean from their knowledge. I want to be able to learn from them so that I myself can become super successful in that area. So, Stephen, let's start out today just by, if you could give one tip or piece of advice to our speakers on how to become super successful in the speaking industry, what would that be?
That's a great question. Let me see. If I was going to pick one thing, I would say give valuable presentations that drive to a definitive action. And let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of people, when they want to be public speakers, they prepare a presentation based on what they want people to know. If you're looking to make money selling from the platform, you need to build your presentation based on what you want people to do, right? So if you want people to buy your program, sign up for coaching or something like that, you build the presentation from the point of action, because the number one purpose of a presentation is not motivation, is not inspiration. The number one purpose of a presentation is action. When a politician is going out and doing a stump speech, he's not looking for anything but votes. It's to motivate a person to go vote for them or vote against an opponent. So to do that, though, you need to have a value-packed presentation that creates so much desire that they want that continuous learning opportunity from you. So, and that means taking the focus off of you, and I'm saying a lot here, and the reason why I'm saying this is because A lot of people want to be the star of the show. Listen, the most successful speakers are not the stars. They're the director, the audience, the star, right? You are the director. You're there guiding everything. They're looking to you for that direction. Make them the star of your presentation, not you. They should be the star. You're that guide and you're that director that's there on the stage, giving them valuable information, leading them to that particular point of action that's going to help them to then start to either incrementally or in hyperspeed get to that next level that they want to get to. So I said a lot, Allison, but it comes down to this. If you want to be a great speaker, be it to small groups or large groups, and I've consistently spoken to groups when I was the Get Motivated arenas filled with 35,000 people at each event.
Oh, is that all? 35,000?
Yeah. I've spoken to over 2 million in total. I've spoken to over 2 million people in total. Yep, over 21 countries, over 2 million people, and my earnings, the amount of money that I've been able to generate is over $20 million in sales. So.
Wow.
Now, and I've learned, and by the way, I didn't, there weren't, as far as I know, anyway, any speaker camps at the time for anybody to teach me this stuff, Allison. It was really a lot of trial and error. But I would say you want to have a very valuable, very, very valuable presentation. And there's some little tricks and stuff that we can talk about. When I say tricks, I don't mean it's like sneaky, but it's kind of understanding the dynamics of what your audience wants, where they're looking to get to, and then how the brain works, and combining those two to put together a presentation that's going to help both you and the audience get the result that they're looking for.
Okay, I love that. Well, and I want to know, and I'm sure everybody on this call wants to know the secrets, but before we go on to that, I had a couple of things that you said that really struck me, and I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
And if you're just joining us, we're on the line with Stephen. He's the Executive VP of NBC. What do you say, NBC?
University.
What's the university? That's right. Okay, so NBC.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to say communications, but I knew that wasn't right. So.
Right.
And he works with James Dentley. James actually, I was on earlier, introduced Stephen, said, hey, I want Stephen to do this call because he's even better than I am. And I want him to be able to teach and pass along his experience and knowledge because he is a super successful person, a speaker, and a phenomenal individual. So we're on here with Stephen Pierce. So one of the things that you just said, Stephen, is as a speaker, you want to provide value that leads to definitive action. So an immediate question that popped into my head, and I have a lot of speakers that have asked me the same question, so I'm going to ask this to you too. Okay. How much value do you give during a presentation? Sometimes these speakers are up on stage. People, obviously maybe they've even paid to be on that stage. So they're wanting to provide value, but the question is, how do you know how much value to provide? Should you give away all your tips and secrets? Is there a point where it's too much so that people feel like they've gotten so much value that they aren't going to want to invest into your program? How do you determine that?
All right, great question. And I do have an answer for you and everybody that's listening. You start with understanding how the brain works and creating what's called an open loop, right? It's a part of psychology. The brain is a closure-seeking mechanism. That's why people who don't have addictive personalities get addicted to shows like Days of Our Lives, guiding like all the different soap operas, or the Walking Dead, or 24 when it was on. It's how the show ends. What these shows do is they open up a loop that will only be closed in your mind by watching the next episode. And in that episode, they'll close that loop and yet open up another loop. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It explains because the brain wants to know. It's like you're on the highway. You're jammed in traffic only to find out eventually that the accident is on the other side of the highway. So why are you jammed up? Because the whole idea of rubbernecking and being nosy is that the mind seeks closure. It wants to know what happened. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So can you give me an example?
Yeah, well, you take that psychology into speaking. So, for example, let's just say I'm doing a presentation on generating traffic, right? It's like, listen, there's a lot of different ways that you can generate traffic. There's like basically 21 ways that are popular to generate traffic, and I've done all 21 of the ways. However, there are 7 specific ways to generate traffic that every single time makes me money. In fact, I make 7 figures a year just from these 7 ways to generate traffic. Now, I only have time to cover 2 of them, but I will let you know how you can go and get all the details on all 7. So let's start with traffic method number 1. You see what I just did?
Yes. Very, very good. So you want to almost create what I'm hearing from you, and I'm learning a lot right along with the audience too. So hopefully I'm reflecting what they're thinking. But what you really want to do is you want to create something like steps, or I'm going to give you the, I have 5 secrets to my program, and today I'm going to cover a couple of them. So you create something that leaves them wanting more because it's incomplete. So that's great with that open loop. I took tons of notes on what you just said. So that's a really great tip.
I want to add, you said something that's really important, and that is the key, and you said it, and it's the key phrase, them wanting more, because you can create an open loop that no one wants to close because it's not interesting and they don't care or relevant, right? So it's like, if you don't, for example, when the person cares about the characters on a show is why they want to know what happens next. If you deliver a presentation that is meaningless, off the mark, not intriguing, not interesting, not relevant, then they're not going to care to close that loop. It's kind of if you're in the supermarket and they have these food samples and they say, hey, would you like to have a sample? And you say, sure. You taste it and it's horrible. Are you going to go buy it?
No.
No. But if you taste it, it's like, oh, my goodness, this is delicious. Can I have another sample? Yeah, you can have another sample. Where can I buy those? Hey, you can buy them right here.
That's true. Occasionally I will buy it anyway just because I feel guilty and I feel like, oh, this person would feel – but, I usually end up putting it back on the shelf. So, in the speaker world, maybe someone will buy and then say, hey, never mind, I don't really want that.
Right.
I think that's really good. I love how you said earlier, too, that successful speakers are the directors and guides. The audiences are the star in guiding them to action. So before you get your tips, I have a couple other questions for you, too. This is intriguing to me, making the audience the star. And can you give me 1 or 2 ways on how you can really make the audience the star? Because, you're the one that's up on stage. You're the one that's giving the information. You're the one somebody's just presented, or somebody's just introduced you, and you have all these credentials. So how do you turn it around to really make it about the audience instead of about you?
Great question. Here's the thing. For all speakers, the moment you step on the stage, just like Allison just said, they gave you an introduction, talked about your credentials. The moment you step on the stage, you immediately have authority, but you have no influence. No influence. The influence is going to be decided based on what you say, right? Now, hold
on. Can you say that one more time? So the minute you step on stage, you have authority based on your introduction, but you don't have influence yet.
You have no influence.
Very good. Okay.
Right. For example, if I got introduced and then I said, hey, thank you for that introduction, which by the way, you never say thank you for the introduction. That's absolutely horrible to do. And I say, okay, now everybody come out your view. Huh?
Yeah. Why?
Well, because it's not about it's not about the MC or the host. Who cares about that process? It's not about them. It's not even about me.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Right. So here's the thing. The host just introduced me, and I'm thanking the host, and the star of the show is like, well, you guys can go have your own conversation. Right?
True. I've been in those type of situations before where it's like this huge love fest between whoever's introduced the person, and you're like, all right, when are you going to get to the meat of it? Yeah, I know what you're saying. Right.
Well, I'm not able to demonstrate it here on the call. We do it at the training event. It's called the F60 because we have a certain way that we do our presentations. And it's not about scripting. It's really about language patterns and structure, how everything is structured. So after you're introduced and you're on stage, the F60 is the first 60 seconds. Immediately in the first 60 seconds, you want to take control and set direction. And there's a way that you go about doing it that basically it separates you from everybody else because most people don't even know how to do that. Now, to answer your question, how do you make the audience the star, ask them questions. You can ask the audience questions. Hey, listen, what are your goals, challenges, and problems? Why are you all here? Why are you here? Somebody says, hey, we're here because we want to grow our business. And you can have a flip chart up. Done it plenty of times. Or you can just make mental notes. Hey, what's important to you all about growing your business? Boom, boom, boom. Hey, we want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Well, tell me, what value do you see in being able to do? The fact that I'm asking them questions already has them involved and is about them, right?
Right.
And then I just tie. And by the way, what you're doing is you're taking that information to know how to tell your existing, already planned presentation. And here's the reason why. When you go into a room and there's an audience and you know you're about to sell something, you don't know if you should be selling to the ego, if you should be selling to their values. You have no idea. Unless you're really good with already knowing the avatar and the people you're going to speak to, which I spoke to like the same profile of people for years. So I kind of knew in a general sense, the overarching value system and what was motivating them and all those particular things. But when it comes down to your audience, they all have these points of difference, but there are some commonalities on why they're all there at that event on that day at that specific place and time, and what are they ultimately looking to get. You sometimes can get that information from the host or the promoter. Look at their marketing material, and then you can, because if you have it in advance, you can say, when you open up, after you've taken control, listen, if you're the type of person, now what I'm doing is I'm speaking to their, I'm speaking to a part of their idea. So let's just say the event, Allison, it's about, let's say it's the event for people that are looking to build up their self-image and their self-esteem, right?
Yeah.
So that they can be more confident and more comfortable. So I can speak to that by saying something like, to the whole audience, if you're the type of person that wants to, strengthen your self-esteem, build up your self-image so you can be more confident and have more certainty about your life and what it is you're doing. Listen, I know that's why they're there, but because I said it, and I said if, which is a presupposition, I said it, I am speaking to their identity in terms of why they're there. Hey, build up your self-esteem. It's a small language change, but that language pattern change has a huge impact in their mind, because in their mind, yes, that's me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. But then I tag on to that when I say, hey, if you're the type of person, boom, 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 then the next 90 minutes are going to be the most important 90 minutes of the day.
Well, I love
now
that, and I hope everybody listening has written this down. If you're the type of person, because I think that's a really crucial language pattern to understand in engaging your audience. One thing that I do in my presentations is, and I engage the audience in this way, I'll ask a question like this, because I know this is going to help lead to them being invested in my presentation. So at the end, they'll hopefully invest in whatever, I have to offer them. But I'll open up with a question, something like this, do you ever feel like you have more to offer the world? Like you aren't quite fulfilling your potential? And then I'll pause so I can think about that. And then I'll say, how would you like to go to bed every night feeling fulfilled, like you've made a true difference in the world? And the reason why I do that, and I think it's kind of the same thing you're saying, is that it immediately they opt in. They mentally opt in by saying, yes.
That's beautiful.
I feel like there's more that I have to offer. Yes,
that's beautiful.
I feel like.
Hey, Allison, you want me to say something? That's beautiful. I love it. Here's how you can amp up that last phrase. The last phrase, which you said, how would you like to go to bed? Change one word and say, imagine going to bed every night. The moment you say imagine, their brain automatically is going to a certain place. Now what you're doing, you're future pacing it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I love that. I love that suggestion. So write that down too if you're listening. I want to kind of change directions here for just a minute. I feel like you've already given us so many amazing tips. I'm looking at the time has just flown by in some senses because I'm writing down. In the other sense, I'm like, it's only been 20 minutes, and I feel like I have more information from you in 20 minutes than I usually get from listening to somebody for an hour. So Thank you so much for the value that you're providing. I want to kind of shift directions here because I know you have some secrets for super successful speakers that you're going to be sharing with us here in a moment. But before you do that, I kind of want to set this up a little bit. I want to know what have been some of your success stories in working with people and in helping them to become super successful people. I'd love to just hear a success story.
Oh, wow. Geez Louise. Man, there's a lot of guys out there that I've helped. Rich Sheffrin and Strategic Profits, Anik Singhal and Learn Inc. Actually, Anik, he was a speaker. I mean, he was doing okay, and then he came to me for some because he never had the table rush, and it's like he wanted to get that table rush, and he really wanted to get the speaking down. So
explain table rush for just a moment for those people who might not know what that is, or explain your definition of that.
Table rush is when you're making an offer, people are running to the back of the table to buy what it is you're selling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before you even finish. I've done presentations where people were rushing to buy it, and I haven't even given a price.
Wow.
I even have video footage, and we actually showed dissect several presentations. I mean, I've done Tony Robbins stuff. I mean, I've been to so many different places. If you look at my passport, you'll see all the different countries I've been to. However, I've done presentations where the buying was so rabid, the table was so thick with people that people were throwing their credit cards, and they had to stand on chairs and call people out based on credit cards they thought full on the table.
Wow. So, immediately when you're talking about this, I think the thought that used to be at the back of my mind, not anymore. But when I would hear somebody talk about this previously, when I was first getting started or first developing my, what I was doing, I used to think, well, that could never be me. That's great, but that could never be me.
Interesting. That is you, though, right?
So how can you make that you? So you had this gentleman that you worked with. He was wanting to get that experience. Maybe he was thinking like I am, maybe that's for other people. How can I ever accomplish that or achieve that? And you worked with him, and what was his success now? His next
event, there was only 120 people at the event he was speaking at. He got a table rush of 35 people and did $100,000 in sales.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So $100,000 and an event of 120 people.
Yeah, that's just under 1,000 people, $1,000 per head. Which, by the way, when you're a speaker and you go out and say you want to know all your numbers, and the reason why is because once you have a presentation where you're able to deliver such tremendous value, and you know what you average per head. For example, if you average $2,000 per head, and a person says they have an event coming up with 100 people in it, 200 people, you already know how much money you're going to make on average. Now, you may come in a little higher, you may come in a little lower, but it's on average. And the reason I was saying you speakers want to be able to do this is because I'll be in a group with a room with a group of people that want to be public speakers, and I'll ask them this, and I'll ask everybody that's listening, hey, a corporation has contacted you. They have an event with 1,000 people, and they would love to pay you $5,000 to come speak to the 1,000 people. They're going to give you 90 minutes. They're going to cover your hotel. They're going to fly you in first class, and you're going to have a blast. You don't have to stay overnight if you don't want to, but if you do, they'll cover the room. They're going to give you, all you have to do is sign the paperwork. They're going to give you $2,500 wired to your account upon signing, and they'll give you the other $2,500 check once you get there and you land, because they just want to make sure that you're there. How many of you would take the deal? Now, just basically every person's hand goes up, and I tell them I will never take that deal, ever.
I learned that from James, actually, and I'll let you finish your story, and then I want to talk just for a minute about that, too, because I think that's something that's phenomenal for speakers to understand. So finish your story, and then let's talk more about that.
See, what I would say is, hey, you know what? I really appreciate that, but I have an even better idea. At least I think it's a better idea. You can let me know if it's a better idea for you. How about you save your money? Hey, I appreciate the $5,000, but why don't you save that? That'll help you come in under budget. I'll cover my own flight. That's going to help you come in under budget. I'll cover my own hotel. That'll help you come in under budget. All that I ask you to allow me to do is give me 15 minutes at the end of that 90 minutes to offer a continuing, don't say sell my stuff, offer a continuing education opportunity. That's how you word it, especially if you're dealing with these organizations. You don't say, hey, can I sell my program? No, I would like to offer a continuing education opportunity. Sure, you can. Hey, listen, if I know I can consistently close 30 to 50% of a room on a $997 low-end deal, and there's 1,000 people, let's just say it's an absolutely insanely bad day, and I only close 10% of the room. That's $100,000. If I took the 5,000, I left $95,000 on the table.
Yeah. Well,
because there's 1,000 people, I close 10%. 100 people, $1,000 each. See, but so having knowing the art of influence from the platform, you, instead of looking for a promoter to write you a check, you write your own checks.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and I've worked with several speakers, and when I talk to people in the Speakers Coalition, I always bring this up because I think when you're starting out, everybody thinks, well, I aspire to be a paid speaker. That's what I want to do. I want to be a paid speaker. That's the top of the chain. That if I could get paid to speak, that would be the best thing possible. And for some people, that may be the best thing for them. But I always say, consider this: if you really have a product that can change people's lives, and you can change people's lives, how much more could you change people's lives if they worked with you for 3 months instead of came and saw you present for an hour? So that's number one. Number two is this: if you can sell from stage, you will always make more money if you can sponsor an event, or if you can come in and speak and sell an event, because you get to keep all of that. So recently I worked with a speaker. I won't say her name because I didn't ask for her permission. She's a phenomenal speaker. She sells a social media package. She's worked, she lives in Australia, and she's worked all over the world selling these packages. And usually she takes what's called a speaker split, right? So usually either people will pay her to come in and speak, or she will come in and speak, and she'll give 50% of whatever she makes to the event organizer. Well, recently we had her at an event. She came in. She actually paid to sponsor that event. So she paid $4,000 to speak at this event for an hour. Well, she spoke for an hour to an audience of 40 people, and she sold $40,000. She said to me afterwards, she said, Allison, I just made $36,000. She said, if I had split, I would have made half of that. She said, if I had been paid to come in and speak $5,000, I would have left $35,000 on the table. So in my mind, if you want to really create something sustainable, if you're passionate about what you do, and if you really want to inspire the world, then learn how to sell something meaningful from stage. And you'll do that. You'll do just that.
I absolutely love that. And here's the thing, Allison. People that want to be paid to speak, you're already selling. You're selling yourself. You're selling ideas. You're just underselling and coming up short. Hey, you're going to put me on there. I'm selling them a point of view. I'm selling them a direction. I'm selling them ideas. Hey, man, I might as well sell you an opportunity to continue to learn. I love how you position that. I mean, if what you have is valuable enough that they should listen to you for an hour and a half, then it should be valuable enough for them to, latch onto your wagon and continue to learn from you for a lifetime if you can.
Well, I'll just say one more thing, and then I'm going to step off my soapbox. And I do want to say, this isn't absolutely for everybody. But think about it. If you go and listen to a speaker for an hour, you may walk away feeling good. In fact, they may, in an hour, you may even be inspired to change something small in your life that may make a difference. But how often have you listened to somebody for an hour and you've walked away and made a complete shift in your life versus what if you heard somebody, they inspire you to action, and you work with them? Now you can really make a shift in your life. And so for me, I'm all about making an impact on the world. I don't want somebody to walk away feeling good. Well, of course I do, but feeling good and doing little. What I want is somebody to walk away not only feeling good, but with the opportunity to really change their life. So if you're on this call right now and you're listening to this conversation, in my experience of working with hundreds of speakers and Stephen's experience of, having spoken to over 2 million, an audience of over 2 million in his lifetime, if you can find a product or a service or something that you can really use to change your audience's life and monetize your mission and what you're doing, figure out what that is and then learn how to sell that from stage. So let's wrap that section up. I promise I get off my soapbox here. I don't really like to insert my own opinions into this.
Before you close it out, I want to add something to that because it's important, and I love that you went there. Learning how to present, learning how to speak is essentially for every entrepreneur, even if you're not looking to say be an official public speaker and be paid to speak. And let me tell you why. When Steve Jobs was alive, his every presentation, one of his first best presentation was positioning the iPhone as a solution to mobile communication problems. Every time they go and they introduce a product, it is a presentation and a pitch for the product. Fred Smith, he gave a presentation that positioned Federal Express as the solution to your express package delivery problems. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, right? He positioned Amazon as the solution to not just book buying, but online purchasing problems. None of them were the first to do it. Steve Jobs wasn't the first with phones or computers. Fred Smith was definitely not first with express delivery. And while Amazon was the biggest, they were not the first online bookseller. And they're certainly not even the online seller of multiple products. Right? So, but they had plenty of competition. However, and here's the kicker, they had a better presentation backed by better solutions and better products. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business, heck, if you're looking to get a job and you're sitting down, your resume is a pitch on you. When you sit down for an interview, you're selling yourself. So if you have a company, you have products, you have services, whatever it is you're doing, you're selling something. So learning how to sell, learning how to communicate, which is a skill, selling is an art. The moment you're able to understand the skill of speaking, the skill of presenting, and you combine that with the art of influence and persuasion and story selling from the stage, boom, you can blow up your whole business and blow up your life and reach a lot of people with your story and move them with your message. Because Allison, she has a story that she tells that I can't tell. If she does not go out there, there's people that are going to be missing out. So she has to do it. It is her duty to go on platforms and share her story and allow her message to reach people's hearts and minds so they can be moved to the place they need to be moved to. I can't do that for her. She can't do it for me. Those of you that are listening, you have your story. That's unique about you. You have your message. There are platforms around the world that are waiting for you. There are people that need to hear your voice, not mine, not Allison's, not James. It is your duty to make sure that you build up your skills and you arm yourself with that art form to be able to persuade and then go out there with that fiery mission to reach people with your story and with your message. Steve Jobs did it, built that turned Apple around. Fred Smith, Jeff Bezos. I mean, you name the entrepreneur. Either way, we're selling something all day long, so we might as well do it deliberately and do it with excellence.
Amen. And, the difference between a great speaker and a life-changing speaker, the difference between a great parent and a life-changing parent, the difference between a great friend and a life-changing friend comes down to one thing, and that is your ability to inspire your audience to action.
Beautiful.
So
love it. No
matter who you're presenting to, I love that. I love that. Okay, this is phenomenal. I've taken so many notes here. I'm feeling inspired. so many ideas as a speaker, and just thank you so much for all that you're sharing. All right, so let's you share with us a success story. You share with us amazing tips already, but now we're down to it. What are your secrets for super successful speakers?
One thing is unlearning how to do storytelling and learning story selling, and it makes a big difference in your power, your popularity.
Unlearning storytelling and learning story selling.
Right, and here's a real life difference. You never buy tickets to hear the stories the news tells you. However, you buy tickets to go watch movies that the movie studios sell you. See the difference?
Yes, I do.
They put together this story of drama or horror or comedy, and they package it in such a way that you buy into the characters, you buy into the story so much that many people, hey, they have memorabilia, they dress up like the characters, they're fully invested, and then that story, like the Star Wars track, now becomes part of their lifestyle, right? You don't see people dressing up like the Anchorman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah. No. So the difference between storytelling and story selling is how you market and position yourself. Is that right? Or your story.
Exactly. It's how you market and position yourself, how you actually create that drama, the language patterns that you're using to say what it is you want to say, and being able to take people on that journey and then and creating this phenomenal immersive type experience throughout your presentation as you're sharing that story so much that it's not like, man, that was a great story. They're so bought into it. You've connected with them on such a deep level. They now buy you. They buy the whole deal.
Yeah, I love that. And, it's so interesting that you mentioned that. I have three people who, these are my top three when it comes to storytelling, or maybe I should reword that to story selling. And it's because every time they do it, I am moved to my very soul, and I feel a connection with them, and that is, of course, James Dentley, who you work with, Les Brown, and Dan Clark. Those are my top three, and I think you're right. There's a sense of emotion there, and when you hear the news or when you're looking at these different programs where you aren't going to pay to go and see those, it's just informative. It's factual. Maybe sometimes you feel kind of bad for something that's happened, or you feel excited. They're telling you. Maybe it's even an inspirational story. My dad's a newscaster, and he used to do something called Wednesday's Child, where they'd feature children for adoption, that were in foster care, and you feel moved, and they did a good job there. But really, when you go to a movie or when you are listening to somebody, you're able to relate to them on such a deep emotional level, and it really does move you. So I love that. Okay, so your secret number one was unlearn storytelling and learn story selling. It's all about positioning and drawing in your audience. What's your second secret? Super successful speaker.
Yeah, I would say understand that, first of all, understand what sales is. Whether you're doing one-on-one sales or you're doing group sales or you're selling from the stage, sales is about leadership, sales is about pain elimination, and sales is helping people buy what they want.
So leadership, pain elimination, and helping people buy what they want.
Exactly. That's it. That's why when you're on the stage, you're not the star. You're the director. You're the leader. Hey, the audience is the star. It's about them. It's not about me. And that comes to, and here's a very important point. When I'm working with someone, I'll ask them a question, and they'll know the answer to this question for themselves, but they don't really know the answer to the question for the audience. I would say, now, thinking about your audience, let me know what is their goal, challenges, or problems. What do they need, want, or wish for? What do they want to be? What do they want to know? What do they want to have? What do they want to do? What do they want to feel? See, the speaker, hey, they know what their goal, challenge, or problem is. They know what they need, want, and wish for. They know what they want to be, what they want to know, what they want to have, what they want to do, and what they want to feel. And the reason why, Allison, you want to know this is it kind of like comes down to the really big thing is that people aren't buying products. They're not even buying solutions. They're buying emotions. The product, the solution is just it is a vehicle to whatever that feeling is. And the moment you know what that feeling is, that is what you're selling them. You're not selling them the package, the box, the product, the event, the coaching. You're selling what it is they're looking to feel. Now, they could be looking to move away from emotions like discouragement or frustration or depression or hopelessness, while simultaneously moving to, higher emotions like feeling confident, empowered, courageous, appreciated, valued, powerful. But by knowing what these emotions are that they're moving from or the emotions that they're looking to move towards, That's the thing that you close them on. You don't close them on the price. The price doesn't mean anything, you know. It's like, hey, you're going to I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's just like what you were saying before, and you brought up, Apple before. There's a famous TED Talk by Simon Sinek called The Golden Circle. I'm sure many people have heard of it. Many of you on the call have probably heard of it. If you haven't, please go and Google that and look that up, because what he's talking about is, and he's referring to more of corporations and things, but this goes to everything, to selling everything, and that is that ultimately, when it really comes down to it, we make all our major decisions and our purchases based on emotion. If we don't feel good about it, we won't do it. If we feel good about it, even if it doesn't make as much logical sense, we'll do it, because it does come down to how you feel about it. So I love that. Okay, so you've given us 2 amazing tips or secrets so far. So one more secret for super successful speakers.
I would say, let me see, what would be one more thing that I would say in your presentation early on, do something to get what are called physical directives. And the reason a physical directive is, for example, and this is just real. I think things that are a little bit more complex, but it's really simple. Everybody raise your left hand. Okay, all right, very good. Everybody raise your right hand. Really good. Everybody raise both hands. I'm using that as an example, and you get everybody to do it. The reason why is you're controlling small actions to then influence and control larger actions later.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I've been around a lot of speakers in the past few months, and I've seen the ones that are really successful in selling or inspiring their audiences to action, and I've seen the ones that, maybe are great, you have great points, great topics, but nobody seems inspired to action. The difference between an audience that just kind of sits there and looks like they're falling asleep, and the audience that is like, amen, yeah, I get you, and nodding their heads and totally engaged is those physical directives. And now that you say it, comes down to that. Like those speakers are saying, write this down, and everybody picks up their pen and writes it down.
Right.
How many of you feel like, or stand up if you, or, turn to your neighbor and say, and, that's very interesting, because I'm sure there's more of a psychology about that I'm just beginning to understand. But when you can engage your audience, and one thing I've heard, tell me if this is true or not, is the more action or movement that you have, the more likely people are to actually pick up their pens or walk to the back of the room and sign up for whatever you have to offer, because it's not a state change. They've been doing it the whole presentation. Is that right?
Exactly. And the thing is that you don't know what state they were in before you came up and how they felt about the other speaker, so you don't want to step in that speaker's poo if that's what he's left, right? So you reset everything by having them to follow your direction, because remember, you're the director. On a movie set, the star isn't telling the director what to do. The director's telling the star what to do. So the thing is that
hold on. Say that again. So your audience is your star. So on a movie set, the director is telling
the star what to do. The star isn't telling the director what to do. Right?
Ah, very good. Very good.
And what you're doing is you're breaking inertia in the audience, where they're sitting there doing nothing, scrutinizing, etc. So you can do simple things. Hey, does everybody have a pen to write this down? Do me a favor, if you have a pen or a pencil, raise it up so I can be sure and I can confirm with my own eyes that you have it. Hey, do you have something to write on? Hey, I just want to be sure. Hold up your pads or whatever. So it's all those little things. And here's the reason why. You actually said it, but I'll clarify it. When you're starting to do all those things and they're following it along, and then when you say, hey, now I want you to go to the back of the room and complete the form, well, it's consistency and congruency with what they were doing from the very beginning. That's why you control the small actions early and sequentially throughout the presentation, so you can eventually control the larger actions later.
Yeah, that's so phenomenal. So here's a question in the back of my mind, and something that I used to ask, and it's been clarified for me, but several speakers have brought this up or mentioned this. So I want to clarify this. How do you do that without feeling demeaning? So there have been several speakers that I've worked with that actually have felt like, well, I'm demeaning the audience by doing that, or I'm treating them like babies, or and there actually have been a couple of speakers that I've seen that haven't done this well, and it does almost seem demeaning to the audience. So what's the secret to make it feel like the audience is engaged and they aren't being forced to do something, or they don't feel like they're being demeaned?
Well, here's the thing. If the speaker is coming from that position, then the speaker pretty much has to check themselves. Everybody is looking for some form of direction. If they weren't looking for direction, their butt wouldn't even be in the seat in the first place, right? So you're giving them direction.
Very good.
You can go sit like a lump on a log anywhere. This ain't a log and you ain't a lump. So let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. So maybe what you're saying is it's the energy of the speaker. So if they're talking to the audience like they're babies or something, then they're going to feel like babies. But if they're just directing them, treating them like a director would treat a movie star, then they'll be inspired to action.
Right, and here's the thing, Allison. You should see video footage of the different things I've had audiences do. I had them shouting up stuff like, I called it my money-making call of the wow. And the whole audience is saying hootie hoo, hootie hoo. I have said, hey, listen, before we get started, I need to indoctrinate you all into our money-making club, and to do that, you need to hold up our money-making gang sign. And I have them make these signs with their hands, and every single person does. Just all kinds of stuff that I get. It's called processing. It's processing the room. And here's the thing. People want to have fun, and you're giving them permission. Most people in their life aren't giving them permission to have fun and let loose. Yeah. You're giving them that permission to have fun and let loose. And if you're looking like you're having fun, they're going to do it. And the social dynamics for those who are feeling a little tight and feeling like, this is a little unusual, but hey, since everybody else is doing it around me, I think it's okay. You're helping to loosen them up, and you let them know, hey, listen, nobody's judging you here. This is a safe place. So what we're going to do is, for once, we're going to have an opportunity to be ourselves. Everybody in here likes to have fun. You go to movies, right? How many in here go to comedies and you love to laugh your butt off? All right, that means you like, see? But you get to do it in the dark, right? You do it in the dark. Hey, we're going to do this in the light, all right? So, hey, listen, if the speaker has hang-ups, he is going to project those hang-ups on the audience. I have no hang-ups.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Well, thank you. So just to recap, our 3 secrets for super successful speakers, and make sure to write these down if you haven't already written these down. And then we're going to find out how you can get more of Stephen and how you can find out more information. I mean, I think you did a great job leaving some open loops here, because I know I'm thinking, how can I get more? This is incredible information. So number 1, secret for super successful speakers is unlearning storytelling and start learning story selling. So unlearn storytelling and learn story selling. Number 2, understand what sales is. Sales is about leadership, pain elimination, and helping people buy what they want. And number 3, get physical directives. So get people during your presentation to raise their hand. Basically, the director is telling the star what to do. And if you can have people in a state where they're writing things down, where they're raising their hands, where they're turning to the neighbors, where they're standing up, then that is going to allow them to have a mentality to stand up and meet with you at the back table at the end and pick up their pen and sign up for whatever you're doing. So very great secrets. I appreciate you sharing those. So how can people get a hold of you? Say we've got people on this call saying, this is incredible information. I want to really learn how to practice this. I want to become a better speaker. I want to implement these tools. How can they get a hold of you? How can they get more from you?
Well, we're doing an event called Inspired to Speak. It's an event that James Bentley put together to help speakers. Highly endorsed by Les Brown. In fact, Les Brown recommended you go to James' training before you go to his. He actually had that on video, which was pretty phenomenal. So it's an event where if you're looking to become a better communicator, or you want to become a public speaker, and you want to become the type of public speaker that not only has the skills to go and speak, but you understand the art of influence and persuasion so that you can actually move a crowd, not just emotionally, but get them to move action-wise, to go back there and start making immediate decisions to change their life. This is the event that helps you to do that. It's 5.5 days. We go to like 10 o'clock every night, and it's full-on immersion. So what we do is we give you the structure on how a presentation is done structure-wise. And then we show you the different language patterns that you can use. How you can use them wherever you want in the presentation, but we give you the proven language patterns to use, and then we help you to build out the presentation. And you actually practice everything while you're here so that when you leave, you don't just have a bunch of information. You're ready. It's like, give me a stage, and when I'm finished, I'm going to blow it up, and it's going to be rubble, right? It's like, where'd the stage go? He blew it up. So we really help to do that, right? Because we're there working with you hands-on. You're getting live coaching in the event. So there's so much that goes on at the event when you're becoming this public speaker. It's kind of the equivalent of everybody right now that desires to be a speaker. It's like the caterpillar, right? But you want to fly like the butterfly as the speaker. Well, here's the thing. You'll never be able to crawl fast enough to fly. You must go through that cocooning process like the caterpillar does. And in that cocooning process, different things are being changed. Different things are being strengthened. Certain things are being stripped away, like apprehensions and fears and low self-esteem and this poor self-image. And that more gladiator side of yourself is starting to emerge, where you come out and you feel like you're 10 feet tall and you're bulletproof and you can take on anything in your life, not just to mention you can go onto a stage and you know that you can move that crowd, that you will not only just move them emotionally, you'll move them to the table where they're going to invest in themselves and invest in you. And together, you all go on this journey, and then you go from one place to another place to another place, and all of a sudden you're creating this movement with your story that only you can tell and your message that only you can deliver. We don't give you the story. We show you how to tell the story in a way that is story selling and not storytelling. We don't give you the message. What we do is we help you to sculpt the message that's already in you so it comes out more powerfully, and as a result of that, you're able to become more profitable. Then we set you up with all the materials that you need, and we actually give you speaking engagements, because James has a lot of events himself, and he has a lot of stage connections, internationally. I mean, not just the U.S., but Thailand and Africa and Dubai, the U.K., Canada, all over the place. So when you graduate and you become a certified and start to speak speaker, we then start to give you speaking engagements. But that's not it. We help you to develop your product. What should you, based on your story and based on your message, what is the best type of product to put together? We help you to structure that entire product and create variations where you have a digital version to create that passive continuity income online, whether you're speaking or not, and those big packages to sell at your events that you can sell for anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000, and then coaching programs, because you don't want to just make money from live events. You want to have that continuous income and those multiple streams that every speaker, I believe, every speaker should have. So when you leave Inspired to Speak, Allison, you're not the same. You're not the same person personally. You're not the same person as a speaker. It is a transformation, literally like the caterpillar emerging as the butterfly. And that's why I tell people I do it. In fact, I have a big custom illustration that was done. It's like, hey, why do you do it? I do it for the butterfly. Hey, I love the caterpillar enough to do the training and to work with people so the butterfly can emerge. You crawl in as that caterpillar, but when graduation is completed, you walk out. You fly out as the butterfly. And as a result of that, people's lives are being changed. And that's what I think about. The people that you have not met. Many people give up in their life based on people they met already. No, don't give up based on who you met. Keep going based on who you have yet to meet. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, I have no idea how many different lives this person is going to touch. Lives that will be saved, lives that will be transformed, lives that will be changed, marriages healed, businesses turned around, based on whatever their message is. But I take my role of helping to sculpt that person to become a speaker seriously, as if I'm training an athlete to become world-class and world champion, so that when they leave out of this environment, not only not the same person that they were when they came in, but every part of the world that they have the privilege to visit, the soil that they have the privilege for their feet to step on, the people that hear their voice will never be the same. And I have a delight just having had a small part in that, knowing that I was able to help give them that confidence, or help them to discover that confidence that's already in them, that level of certainty, to find their voice, to find their power, and to be able to go out there in the face of whatever resistance they feel they have, and just completely dominate their fears, dominate their discouragements, dominate whatever comes in their way, and reach the people that I'm not able to reach. Inspired to Speak is truly about equipping you with what you need to go out immediately That's why we get you platform ready in 5 days. When we say that we get you platform ready in 5 days, Allison, we get you platform ready in 5 days. In fact, based on those that are ready, 2 days at the end of Inspired to Speak, we actually allow you to speak, and if you're ready to sell, we even allow you to sell your package. But everyone is immersed in the environment, and they're learning by doing, not just learning by listening.
Well, I love what you said, and I want to add a couple things to that. First of all, this is really the total package. It has everything. Second of all, if you're in the Speakers Coalition, this is one of our approved trainings. If you go through this training, you will move up to elite or elite keynote status.
Oh, beautiful.
So that you can start getting more stages through the Speakers Coalition as well as through Inspired to Speak. Third of all, I want to mention that I've been asked to JV or be involved in over 200 events in the past 3 months. This is one of the events that I've chosen. I will be there. I'm planning on being there. James and I just talked about this 2 days ago, but I'm planning on being there in August and also September into the Inspired to Speak camps, doing some training for speakers myself, helping out, and just really adding value to an event that is life-changing. So I'm really excited about it. So tell me, Inspired to Speak, is there a website? Is there, this is such an amazing, incredible opportunity. What are the details that somebody needs in order to move forward with attending Inspired to Speak?
If they're interested, I would ask them to send an email to our office with your name and the subject line, and we can contact them and give them a call and make sure that this is the right event for them.
Okay, and so, I love how you do that too, because to me that's integrity, of saying, hey, you know what, this might not be the right fit for everybody.
Right.
But we care more about what you're going to get out of it than we care about, the sale in the end. So I love that. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. This is not staged, and the answer could fully be no, so I'm taking a risk here. But for my Speakers Coalition members, do you have any special discounts, bonuses, anything that you could offer the Speakers Coalition? I'm always fighting and looking out for them. So tell me, you got anything?
Yes, actually, we will.
Surprise! Think of something really good right now.
Yeah. We have a program that we can put in. It's a 12-month advanced speaker training program where we do training webinars, and this is literally about helping you to build that 6- and 7-figure speaking business. This goes into the building. Okay, you know how to speak, you know how to sell your programs, and you have programs, but how do you start to set things up where you start to build a big following on social media? How do you get people buying your stuff online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where you're making that digital money being deposited into your account like every single day? How do you go about doing that? Well, with our monthly advanced speaker training webinars, you get one a month, but you also get system documents, process checklists, daily activity calendars. You learn exactly what to do, precisely how to do it in your business. This is like an operational side. This is literally building that insanely lucrative, unstoppable public speaking business, because you know you have the skills of speaking and you got the art form down of persuasion. Now you need to get seen, you need to get heard so you can get paid. Being a part of the 12-month, what's that?
So you're telling me if they sign up for the Inspired to Speak program, they're going to get this 12-month advanced speaker training for free?
Absolutely, 100% free, and that's $5,000.
You guys, I have to pat myself on the back. It's $5,000 on myself. See what asking gets you. So just know if you're in the Speakers Coalition, I'm going to take care of you. So, and thank you so much for that. That's a phenomenal opportunity. So 5.5-day event, 12 months advanced speaker training. Really, my goal, and I want to speak to everybody on the call now, my goal in the Speakers Coalition is I want to create a place where speakers with powerful life-changing messages can connect with platforms and stages and really inspire and change the world. And this is a tool that's absolutely going to allow you to do that. Our time's up, but I know the one question everybody's asking is, what is that email address? Where can they email you to find out and get more information?
I'm glad you asked. They can email info@NBC University. That's N as in Nancy, B as in Big, C as in Cash, University.com. Again, info, I-N-F-O, @NBCUniversity.com. Make sure you put Alice's name in the subject line. I will personally be giving you a call. It'll be either myself or James, because I like to talk to people. We actually give you a 30-minute public speaking strategy session, because even if the event is not the right fit for you, you will walk away with ideas on how to improve yourself as a speaker in your speaking business. Also, you want to have Alice's name in the subject line, because if this is a fit for you and you come, we need to know that we're giving you the 12-month advanced speaker training webinars for the next year at no additional charge, so you're going to be waived that $5,000. So it's important to put Alice's name in the subject line.
Oh, thank you so much. And everybody who's on the call, it's been so great to get to hear from you. You're the Executive Vice President of NBC University, highly endorsed by James Dentley. Can you tell us your personal information? I'm not asking for your personal email address or your cell phone or anything, but where can people personally find out more about you?
Oh, they could email me at Stephen, STEPHEN, at NBC University. I don't mind.
All right.
You can email me too, Allison.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephen. This has been a phenomenal call. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be on this call. Thank you for being a member of the Speakers Coalition, adding value to the world and raising the frequency of the plant one stage at a time. Signing off, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow.